ball.
Hello everyone, welcome to beautiful Boca Raton, Florida, where we're here to see South Florida Football Academy take on IMG Academy. This is going to be a return of these two teams as they played last week in Bradenton, Florida. Now we're going to get to see them play at the home field of South Florida here at Loggers Run Park. Quite a few changes for Coach Greg, or at least he has to make some adjustments from the last game, but we'll get to that in a minute. Today is looking awfully sunny and it is hot, and hopefully that doesn't play much of a factor for these players as they are in some great shape as we are pretty much in the middle of the season. A couple of players also brought up for this game from the Sunshine Division to help round out the team. We went with minimal reserves to Bradenton to face IMG, and that game ended in a tie 1-1. I don't think Coach Greg is going to be making that mistake again, as he's brought a number of players with him today to try to even out the bench as much as the field. IMG largely the opposite, having a limited bench today, and gotta say that hopefully that's in our favor as we tie that game 1-1, as I mentioned before. But SFFA looking strong today with the number of call-ups that they have. So far, I believe it's Luca, Nico, Crosby, and I believe that's going to be it. One of our keepers had to not be here today, Brandon, so filling in for him is going to be Valentino. But the boys look sharp today as we take a look at this lineup that Coach Greg is going to put together. So we're going to have Luca and JC up at the top, along with Gavin, Brian, Julian, and Nico making up the midfield. Brandon's back in at left back. Lano and Crosby in the center backs, with Matthew playing out to the right, and along with Valentino as our goalkeeper. Team without Idan today, as he picked up an injury in the last game against IMG, so the team's without its captain. But I do believe we have Nick in the lineup here, maybe just coming on as a sub later on. Again, he wasn't with us at IMG, and he is coming back off of an injury. So the MLS next season taking its toll. As it always is, it is a highly competitive league, which causes a number of injuries amongst its players. But as always, we have plenty of young talent to surprise the opposition with and to take on any challengers. So with this lineup, I'm sure Coach Greg is happy with what we have here today as we go up against this IMG team who, again, kind of stunned everybody with their goal, tying up that game, and held a pretty stout defense. Last week, SFFA came out strong in the second half, launching a couple of good attacks. Just couldn't put one in the back of the old onion bag. So, unfortunately, no win from that trip, but hoping for a win here at home, which hopefully I'm sure they'll get. With me today, as always, is Jeffrey Smythe. Say hello to Jeffrey.
Hello everybody, and welcome here to Boca Raton, which I'm sure we're going to have a hell of a match. Put this against this IMG team. We weren't with you last week to bring you all the exciting in-game hosting, but we are excited to be here today back at our home field at Loggers Run Park.
Well, that they are, and as the team huddles up here for their last little bit of advice that they're going to give one another or to hype themselves up, I think that we're in for a heck of a match here today. I think we're going to see some grand highlights that we're going to share with everybody. And we're hoping that you stay tuned for the whole match because they always prove to be some of the best in the league. And before we get started, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention one of our sponsors here, Techie Apparel. Techie Apparel, T-E-C-H-Y Apparel, located in Etsy. That's Etsy.com. Brings you all kinds of unique and interesting soccer apparel as well as custom cleats to your design. If you so wish, you can also purchase cleats to the design that are listed on the site. So we encourage you to stop on by Techie Apparel on Etsy.com and pick up a shirt or a pair of shoes that you might like sporting around town. And with that, here we go. South Florida Football Academy ready to take on IMG. That's IMG out of Bradenton, Florida. As the referee signals, IMG getting a little bit of a head start there. As this ball is launched into the backfield. Crosby there to head it forward. Headed on again by IMG player. This one brought down by Brian and put in the path of Julian. Julian passes it over to Brandon. Brandon on the left side. Uses that left foot to put it into the space. Unfortunately, no South Florida player there. IMG now back on the ball. And lose it for the first throw into the match. Gavin on the ball. Brian now trying to make something work on the left side. Wins a throw. Gavin again. IMG playing the ball through the center of the field. JC applying some pressure. They're forcing it long, and Crosby is there to corral that one. Oh, IMG player kind of hits the dirt. Looks like he ran up on top of Crosby's foot, and he's going to be eating some dirt today. But he seems to be okay. Crosby now back in the ball. It's a pass in to JC. JC looking for help from Matthew, and he gets it, but Matthew can't keep the control of the ball, and it's going to be an IMG throw. Brian intercepts that throw. He's got Luca making a run, puts the ball in his path right in front of Luca, and he is getting ridden like a horse through the field. And the referee calls the foul. Let's take another look at that one.
Well, I've heard of jockeying for a position, but I've never seen a player trying to become a jockey. My goodness, how is that not a yellow card? He was clearly going in on goal. And yes, finally the ref is pulling it from his pocket. That was clearly a scoring opportunity. I think Luke is arguing that should be a red card because he was all alone, him and the goalie. But instead, we'll have to settle for a free kick just outside the box.
Looks like Brian's going to take this free kick and does. Puts it out to the left side. Diving save from the IMG keeper. Lano's going to get back on top of this one. He plays it up to Gavin. Gavin's looking for someone to go back to. He finds Brandon as the SFFA team recoups here. Gavin trying to make a move on the left side. Able to get around that IMG player, but just goes out for a throw. Well, what a shot from Brian onto that IMG keeper. Had to make a diving save in order to prevent that one from going in. Nico on the ball in the middle is trying to play it out to Matthew. Just doesn't have enough on it. And it looks like this one's going to go out for a throw.
I want to take this minute to look back at this beautiful free kick from Brian. Just a marvelous diving save from the IMG keeper to keep that one out. But man, did he put that right where it needed to be. And then here we are. Looks like it's going to be called for a handball and a free kick for IMG.
That it is, as the big center back for IMG waits to take this free kick. Let's see where he puts it. Right down the middle. Looks like that one took some contact from Julian. Shot!
Oh,
blocked,
good job, lad!
and cleared by Gavin. Wow. That was a epic save there from Valentino.
Beautiful.
Point blank. He got low, got his hands out, and was able to block that ball right out of the area. And easy clearance there for Gavin. But it's going to set up the first corner of the day for IMG. Long ball into the box. Got ahead to it, IMG, but clearly over the goal and out of the stadium.
This was a good attempt on the corner from IMG and something that SFFA has struggled all season. If that was a better header, that would be in the back of the net. SFFA needs to do more to mark up these players in the box if they don't want to get surprised again.
Well, this ball being played out of the back. Nico under trouble here. Gets it off to Matthew. Matthew pops it up. Trying to do a little move here to create space. Gets it off to Crosby. Crosby back up to Nico. Nico popping the ball up. Brian able to get on top of it. And Brian gets fouled for his trouble. As we take another look here, you can see Brian trying to make something happen, and the IMG player just comes in and just drops a shoulder into his back, not even attempting to go for the ball. IMG has come here to play today, just not necessarily soccer. Maybe they're looking to play a different sport. As Crosby takes this free kick, plays it back to Lano, who's under pressure, gets it back over to Crosby. Crosby with a little bit of space, but not much. He plays it up to JC. JC back to Crosby. Crosby looking long, trying to find Luka, but can't do it, and IMG parry this away for another throw. Matthew now throwing the ball long down the field. And this one kept in bounds. Brian trying to get to it. JC ends up getting it. He passes it back to Crosby. Crosby trying to get it over to Brand on the other side. Well read by the number 7. But Crosby hustles back to get it, but commits the foul.
Oh, this is a bit of bad luck here. But Crosby is trying to do the right thing, trying to win this ball back after giving it up. And he just gets a little too much of the player, and the referee can't overlook it.
All right, again, number 21 for IMG over the ball. Assuming he's going to put this one in the box again. No, he actually looks like he's going for goal. And he goes well left of the goal. No trouble for Valentino as he kicks this ball short to Brandon. Brandon playing it over the left side. Plenty of room there. Curly trying to make some pressure on the ball. Can't get to it. IMG forced the pass back. Passing into the space, but only finding Nico, who pops the ball into the area. JC there uses his body, trying to win this ball. Can't do it, but gets a throw. Matthew now on the ball. He's throwing long, looking for Luka. And this ball is parried back, and IMG is back on the move. Crosby now with the ball. Pass up to JC. JC trying to get it to Matthew, and it does. Matthew trying to make something happen now on the right side. Looking across. He does get it off and headed away by IMG. JC comes down with it. He's in the box. He takes a shot. And it goes across the goal. Still in bounds. Kept in by Gavin. Gavin now looking for... Oh, that's got to be a foul. And it is.
Oh, that's a number of fouls that IMG have committed in the very short time frame of this game. As Gavin makes a nice cut inside, the IMG player just lets that leg lag out there, and that commits the foul.
Over the ball. And he brings the hand up and down quickly. Puts the ball into the box, looking for Lano. Lano could have got a foot to it, but IMG keeper ends up coming down with it, and he hustles out to the top of his box, looking for someone to throw. He urges his players to move forward. Looks like he's going to punt. And he does, and it's a boomer right to the center field. And Nico gets a foot to it, brings it down to Brian. Brian back to Nico, just can't find him. And IMG back on the attack. IMG working the right side of SFFA. And they kick this ball out for a corner. IMG with their two big players, 20 and 21, hustling into the box. Can't get through. The ball just goes through everybody. Matthew applying some pressure to this ball, trying to win it back. 21 cuts it a little too hard. Crosby's going to shield this one and win the throw-in for SFFA. Throw by Crosby. Nico comes down with it, looking for someone to pass to, and waits for Matthew to pick it up. Matthew back to Crosby. Crosby up the field, but nobody is there to receive it. Julian comes away with the ball, gets it off to JC. JC with some quick touches, gets it to Matthew. Matthew with nowhere to go. He's going to play it back to the keeper. Keeper under some pressure here. Valentino kicks it, but it goes short. Oh, this could be trouble. Shot, and it is well left of the goal. And whew, SFFA might have dodged a bullet there. Valentino typically does play for the MLS Next team and has had a few starts here. He is very comfortable in that goalie box, as you well know. But he has had a couple of mistakes here and there, that being one of them. I'm sure that he'll recover, as he normally does, and have a terrific game today, as this ball goes out for a touch and a throw. Gavin heading the ball up in the air. IMG heading it forward and into touch, so it's going to be another South Florida throw. Gavin on the ball, throwing it back to Brandon. Brandon with plenty of time. He passes back to Lano. Lano getting hurried. He gets it off to Nico. Nico one-touch pass to Julian. Julian over to Gavin. some nice combinations here as SFFA moves this ball forward, gets it up to Luca. Luca with some steps. Can he muscle his way back onto the ball? He's trying, he cannot, and IMG win it back. But not for long as they pass it right into Julian, and that's got to be a foul, as number 12 just pushed Julian down to the ground, and the referee tells him to get back up, but man, that was clearly a foul.
Well, I've been to New York City, and I'll tell you, this is a straight-up mugging. As you can see, number 12 just extends his arms out to throw Julian to the side, as if he wasn't even there.
Well, here we go, another throw for IMG. As they're proving to be the more physical team on the field today. And trying to move this ball through. They can't do it as Gavin comes away with the ball, but commits a foul. Kind of curious about this one. Looked like he got all ball to me, but not really sure what the call is there. Well, one foul in the books for South Florida. As, again, 21 lines up on this ball. Looks like he's going to try to drive it in the box. Wow, low drive. Ooh, man, that was close. That could have definitely been in the back of the net. I don't think they were expecting that one at all.
Well, I'll tell you, IMG definitely has a plan with these free kicks. They're not putting in these long balls over the top. This was a fast, driven ball. Number 19 got the glancing header on it, and it just went wide of the goal. They're very lucky that isn't in the back of the net. That's twice South Florida has not been marking up the men, unless they almost paid for it. As we take another look here, you can see 19, just instead of going to the near post, he tried to go to the far post, and that ultimately is why he missed.
Well, Valentino takes this one quick. Gets it out to Crosby. Crosby forced to play long. JC again bodying up his defender. Brian plays this one out to Matthew. Matthew plays this one long and into space for JC. Well, he's got some room to run here. 21 just cuts in front of him. JC now trying to get the ball. Takes a deflection, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. But a good ball from Matthew on that one. As IMG plays this one short. Matthew there applies some pressure, comes away with it, gets it off to JC. JC back to Matthew, although the pass a little behind him. JC back on the ball now, plays it over to Matthew again. Matthew crossing the ball into the center. He had Luca, but it was deflected by IMG. And Brian trying to come back down with it and commits a foul.
Well, I think the only foul here is the umbrella that's attacking our cameraman. But there's a little bit of an elbow there from Brian. I can see why that got called. But honestly, when you're fighting and scrapping for the ball, elbows are going to fly. And as long as they don't hit anybody, who do they hurt?
Kind of like if a tree falls in the forest, who's there to hear it make a sound, right?
Exactly. It's not hurting anybody, and nobody's going to know any better.
Well, there you go. As JC has kind of switched the side here, coming over to help. Luca's moved over to the right. And IMG now in possession of the ball in the middle of the field. Brian kicking that ball, but it gets back over to the IMG player, and Gavin puts that one into touch. IMG throwing down the sideline. Brandon there to pick it up. JC passing back to Julian. Julian with some room to run. He makes the pass off to Brian. Brian with his head on the swivel. He gets it off to Nico. Nico looking up the field finds Matthew. Matthew back over to Luca. Luca with some space to dribble. He's getting harried. He tries to get off to Julian, but it gets intercepted. He gets the ball back. Nico now on the ball, making some quick turns here. Gets the ball up to Luca, but is fouled in the process. So South Florida is going to have a free kick. Yeah, we can see it right here. 12 just drags his foot. 12 seems to be the culprit today, as he's committed a number of fouls already. I sure hope that the referee is keeping count, as accumulation can equal to a yellow card as well. And Lano takes this free kick over to Brandon. Brandon up to Gavin. Gavin over to Julian. Julian with a nice cut inside. He's looking for Gavin. Can't find him. And this ball's out into the midfield again by IMG. Number 12 again. He draws the foul this time from Julian. A lot of kicking and scraping in there. As we take another look here. I'm still trying to see where the foul is. I would say number 12 is as much the culprit as Julian. Wouldn't you agree?
That was just two players fighting for the ball. I didn't see anything blatant or over the top to call a foul. And Julian came away with the ball as fair, as clean as I could tell. I don't know what exactly he's seeing, but the number 12 seems to be involved in a lot of plays where there's some physical activity. So I'm curious to see, like you said, if it's going to end up with an accumulation card later in the game.
Well, IMG on the ball here again. Looking for a throw. Ball bouncing up into the air. Matthew gets ahead to it and puts it out for a throw. Now, thank you for the assistance there, man on the sideline, as he was quick to indicate that that was an IMG throw. This ball up into the air. JC waiting for the header to see where it goes. 21 back on it. Rifles that ball into the field, but Lano gets a leg to it. As IMG dancing on the ball now. Julian quick to take it away from him. And he plays this ball up the field to a waiting JC. JC going in a run, but this is going to be called back for an offsides. Wow, what a takeaway from Julian. And then to look up and spot JC on the trot. Just unfortunately, he was off by a couple of steps.
Well, I don't blame the smaller player. I was a smaller player as well, if you haven't heard, and they have to have those extra steps.
Well, this ball kicked long. IMG again back in possession. Matthew on the ball here, trying to clear it. Goes off the IMG player. And again, the helper on the sideline was kind of emphatically saying, no, that was an IMG throw. But, man, I guess he just couldn't get the agreement of that sideline judge.
Yeah, well, this fan is having a good time out there. He's trying to influence the referees. Clearly, he's not getting the call, but he's laughing and he's smiling out there, and that's what we want from our home fans and from the fans that come to see these games. Let's just hope that they can keep that smile in the event that their team goes down to this South Florida team, which it could likely happen.
Well, good challenge there from Brandon. Gavin comes away with the ball. Gavin again, but cannot get past that last line of defense from IMG as Lano heads this out to the left side for Brandon to pick up. Brandon back to Gavin. Gavin one touch pass to Julian, who's got some room to run here. Tries to get the ball up the field. Can't find JC in time, and this ball is kicked away by IMG. All right, Gavin to take the throw. New player checked into the game, Tiago. Ooh, as Luca takes a stumble. Oh, Nico's going to read that ball very well. Luca comes down with it. He gets it off to Tiago. Tiago looking for a pass. Gets it over to JC. JC looks across. He's got Matthew on the trot. He's running it into space. Looks up. Plays the ball across. Couldn't get it to Luca. Luca challenged. And looks like Nico again is going to intervene on this. But it's going to go the way of IMG. Matthew heading the ball away again. Another IMG throw. Nico really coming in and being a playmaker today as he's intercepted several balls. Matthew, almost a bad collision there by IMG as they head the ball forward. Crosby's going to shield this one nicely for a goal kick. But like I was saying, Nico intercepting many balls today and really being a force out there to be reckoned with and breaking up this IMG defense. JC and Tiago giving chase to this ball. Oh, might get lucky here as IMG forced to play back to their goalie. Goalie kicks it long. Crosby puts it back up front. Tiago trying to get a foot to it and is going to win a foul. Handball. Tiago takes it quickly, gets it over to Julian. Julian over to Gavin. Gavin into Tiago. Tiago with a nice little chip ball up front. Just a little too much, and IMG parries it away. IMG in some trouble here as they can't seem to clear their area. And then foul call against South Florida.
Yeah, I think these are two pretty bad calls by the referee. One, I don't think that the IMG player could have done anything more than keep the hand close to his body when Tiago kicked the ball into him. And then this was a good challenge by the IMG player and all Nico could do is fall forward. I don't think that should have been called as a handball. I think these are just fair play fouls that he's calling. They're just part of the game. They're unpreventable. And if you're going to start calling those, what are you not going to call? Because now everything becomes a foul.
Not lucky to get a foul here as IMG looks good on the attack until Crosby can parry that one away. Thiago now trying to make something happen. Gets it over to Brandon. Brandon plays it long, looking for Luca, but ends up finding JC. JC playing the ball over to Gavin. Gavin with a nice ball up to Luca. Luca's giving chase. Oh! And that's going to be a foul, clearly.
Oh, absolutely it is. Luca has a knack for getting in front of these defenders and using his size and his position, creating the fouls because the defenders can't stop themselves from running into the back of them.
Well, JC stands over the free kick. Three players in the wall. JC delivers, and it's into the hands of the keeper. As SFFA sprint to get back to their positions, IMG keeper in no rush to release this ball and punts it away. Brandon giving chase. IMG come down with it, play it back. Playing over to the middle. Number 12 on the ball. He plays it across the 34. 34 got his head up, spots a player, but he's got nowhere to go. Crosby's in control there and pokes it away. Crosby now on the trot. He's got some wheels. Getting harried by number 12 and wins a throw. We take another look at this free kick. JC had a nice pace on the ball, nice direction, but fortunately right at the keeper. Nobody was coming across to get a header on that to misdirect it. And Matthew stands on the line for the throw. Throws it in to Nick, who has checked in, who plays the ball over to Nico in the space. Nico pops it up. It's going to go into the box, and it's headed away by IMG. But only to Matthew. Matthew had a player come up from behind him and snake that ball away. Ball played back over, but Julian able to get it. Now there's just a flurry of bodies. Lano back on the ball. Lano playing across. Finds Crosby. Crosby cutting in. Finds Nico. Nico with his head up, looking across the field. Brandon's going to run up and collect that. Brandon over to Julian. Julian looking around. He plays it back to Lano again. Lano over to Crosby. Crosby looking up, starting to move forward. Plays the ball long. Will Nick get there? He's giving chase, and looks like he is, and he crosses it over, and IMG keeper yet again alert and able to snag that ball and bring it down. So South Florida has made 3 subs. You've had Nico, Thiago, and now you have Emerson on the field. So mainly offensive players being subbed out here. As Thiago gets the pass off to Julian. Julian gets over to Emerson. Emerson with a nice flick. He's one-on-one with the goalie.
Oh!
He scores! 1-0 South Florida. The substitute comes in and puts it in the back of the net.
That was a beautiful goal from the substitute. He came right in. He knew what his job was. And he makes a marvelous first touch on this ball. I can't wait to see the replay. Let's take another look. First, Crosby gets the ball. And this is something that they were setting up beforehand. This is that initial effort from Nick. And look at the ball that Crosby gives to Nick. Oh, that's beautiful. It's like a rainbow coming up with the pot of gold at the end. Unfortunately, the leprechaun snagged it away before it could be in the back of the net. But then we look at this. Julian plays a nice ball over to Emerson, who takes a beautiful flick on. And then it's just him and the goalie, all by themselves. And he tucks this ball right into the back right corner. It was gorgeous. And we lead 1-0 here at Lagersrand Park.
Well, you know, it all comes down to the substitutes, a man once said to me in sports. They bring you energy, they change up the game, and they certainly did in this with the addition of Thiago at first. He's been creating a lot of different plays there in the midfield. And then with the addition of Nick and Emerson on the field, really ramped up the offense here for South Florida. Not that Luca and JC weren't getting the job done, but we just needed a change of pace, and I think that said it all right there. As IMG trying now to go on the attack and almost win a corner, but it ends up being a throw. Matthew coming out to pressure. IMG crossing the ball. Brandon there to poke it away. IMG still on it. Playing it back. Ooh, under pressure. They punt it long. And, oh, this one's going over Valentino's head, but he safely snags it. Ooh, had to take a deep breath there on that one. But Valentino in control and urging his players to go forward as he looks to throw this ball up the middle to Nico, who is wide open. Plays it over to Matthew. Matthew trying to cut inside. Ooh, might not want to rethink that in the future. As this ball's played over to the middle to Julian, who is wide open and got space. Oh, trying for that last pass, and 21 read it well. And now they are running up the field. And, ooh, still in control. Thought that ball was going to go out. Still trying to work something on the sideline here, but being hustled off by Gavin, and South Florida wins a throw. Still in possession here. Ball goes out. There was a little bit of confusion as who got it. IMG wins the throw. And Brandon now poking it free. Oh, that could have been a handball, but no call. Thiago now running. Cuts through the defender. Just doesn't have the speed to accelerate through, but still wins the throw. Thiago now still on the ball. Making some moves. Passes back to Brandon. Brandon to Lano. Lano to Crosby. Crosby up the middle of the field. Finds Thiago. Thiago trying to bring it down in control. Able to shield well. Turns his defender. Passes it up, but it gets blocked. Gavin still on the ball. Gavin again. Trying to find Nick. Nick quick to move. Plays it over to Matthew. Matthew pops it up, but right to the keeper. I don't think he wanted to do that. And unfortunately, that kills that attack. IMG slowing it down here, which is odd because they are down 1-0 as we come close to the end of the half. And playing it out to the right side. Gavin again trying to break up that play, but I think he's going to commit a foul there, and he does.
Well, Gavin has owned that side of the field all game. Every time they try to make a run at him, he either stops the play or he creates an opportunity for South Florida to move forward. And good on him. He commits the foul there, but it was a good, tough struggle.
Yes, it was, as South Florida looks to make a couple more changes here before the half. Nico's coming off. And it looks like Moore is going to check in. And Matthew's coming off for Kawhi. So a couple more tactical changes here. Like I said, before the half comes to an end. Matthew getting some direction from the coach as he played a couple of awkward balls there. I'm sure he'll have some changes to make for the next half as this ball is played down to Valentino. Valentino puts the ball on the ground. Passes it over to Brandon. Brandon out to the left side to Julian. Julian looking for Mora. First touch on the ball, first action. Mora going right into a sprint. Cuts up his defender. Looking to the left. Martin was there, just couldn't get it to him. Martin has also checked in. But already, this field's looking a little bit more open and a little bit more speed on the field now. As Martin is desperately trying to find somebody to throw the ball to, finds Mora. Mora back to Brandon. Brandon across to Crosby. Crosby plays the ball long again. IMG there to intercept. Crosby picks that one off. Needs some of that speed, but goes into the touchline. And IMG is going to have a throw. Cowan now applying the pressure, forcing the ball back to the keeper as Nick gives chase. Ball played out to the right side. Julian intercepts. Julian to Thiago. Thiago putting the ball into space. 21 cuts it out. And and kicks it out of there as Brandon challenges for that ball. IMG now kicking the ball forward. Doesn't look like it's going to get there. And Brandon's going to shepherd it out for a throw. Like I said, limited substitutions here for IMG. All the subs seem to be in favor of South Florida, who have so far used them very wisely to combat this game. And are basically one up as a result of it. IMG largely sticking to what their starting lineup was, as this ball again is lost and out for a South Florida throw. Martin into Tiago. Tiago back to Brandon. Brandon pops it up. Looking for Nick. Couldn't find him, but it finds Moore. Moore now on the run. Using that left foot to find Kawa. Kawa on a full sprint. Got his head up. He's looking. Ball across to Moore. And Moore with a beautiful turn and a shot. But not a challenge to the keeper as it was skipping along the ground. But definitely a good sequence of passing there. And something else from this South Florida team that we didn't see last week.
Oh, they're just so much more smooth and coordinated than they were last week in this game, especially with the additions of the substitutes. You can clearly see the difference with this South Florida team. Their passing is crisper, and they seem to definitely be getting into the right position at the right time. Been some bad luck by passes into the defense, but overall I think that they've been moving the ball very well, especially since Mora came onto the field. Just with his first few touches, he's created chances, and that's something you can't buy, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta have the talent and the skill to do it. As Blandon comes away with that one, and that's what I'm talking about. Look at the opportunities that they're creating just out of these interceptions. As Emerson's on the ball here, he plays it across to Kawa, and now they've got numbers forward. Let's see what they do with it. Oh, Nick's got the ball. Oh, that's a pass save. Get on it, laddie. Yes, he's got it again. Look at this beauty. Oh, bad luck. Martin's still on the ball. And there it goes, ladies and gentlemen. But this is just, like I said, poetry in motion.
Yeah, as we take another look here, you can see Nick has him beat right there, but takes the shot just as 34 was coming across. Goalie in the right position at the right time. Man, that could have gone any which way. And could have been looking at 2-0 just there. Just a little bit of bad luck as the IMG keeper almost kicks this ball out of bounds. Kawa now applying the pressure. Comes away with it. Gets it over to Nick. Nick could have another shot here before the half. And it just dribbles harmlessly into the keeper. I think the defender for IMG got a touch on that and caused that ball to just dribble in. We'll see what happens here as IMG rolls this one out, which was really dangerous because the South Florida players were still in the area as a result of that last shot. IMG in trouble here. Oh, there's some tossing back and forth. They are definitely hooked up. Referee finally, he doesn't blow the whistle. He lets play continue. Oh, that one he's calling though. Wow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, unless these two are going to a church, there is no reason for them to be like this and not have a foul called. What is that? Their arms are interlocked right in front of the referee. And then here comes the other foul. And yeah, Brandon does get him at the foot. And it was clearly a foul, so that's a good one by the referee. But I don't know how he lets play continue after that last one. That would have been clearly a foul in the free kick and just gone on our way.
A low drive free kick. Whoa! Valentino having to parry that one away. I don't know how these free kicks are getting by. I mean, this is just a low-driven free kick right at the keeper.
Yeah, you can't look away for a second. This number 21 for IMG, why we aren't throwing a couple of bodies in front of this ball every single time? This thing is nearly 4 feet off the ground. We could have put somebody in there to block it. And it just goes right at Valentino, has to make a diving save. Oh man, when are we going to learn here?
Well, I don't know, but man, Valentino is standing on his head for this game as he made a couple of critical saves here as that corner went absolutely nowhere. And that looks like it's going to signal the end for the half. But man, a little bit of a pulse-pounding reaction there towards the end as Valentino has to come up with a big save to keep South Florida ahead here at the half, 1-0. And as Coach Craig gives some instructions to the team, he's got to be happy with the results as they have been dominant in this game and controlling both the ball and the play. Now, this number 21 from IMG is definitely the highlight reel for them. Unfortunately, he hasn't put anything in the back of the net, but I think we've been lucky in that fact and that we've had Valentino back there to prevent a lot of these balls from going in. Refereeing, that's another story. My partner and his opinions have no reflection on the team, and I hope that no referees watching this game hold him accountable or South Florida accountable for his comments. Jeffrey is a longtime supporter of referees and soccer, but he is entitled to his opinion, so we hope that everybody just learns and takes it in jest and in fun and doesn't hold it against us. So with that being said, let's take another look at one of our sponsors, Sideline_Shutterbug. Sideline_Shutterbug, located on the Instagram, bringing you all the photos and pictures of today's matches and matches from in the past. South Florida Football Academy, all the teams that we play against. Find your photos there at Sideline_Shutterbug. Quality 4K photos brought to you for your memories and for your enjoyment. So go on over, take a look, click like and subscribe to Sideline_Shutterbug. You won't regret it. All right, looks like we're ready to start the second half of this game. And South Florida going to start it off here. Not much has changed to the lineup. In fact, I don't think anything has changed in the lineup as IMG comes away with that ball, but not for long as they give it right to the person you don't want to give it to, and that being Nick. And he goes right into a sprint down the right side. Still in control. Still making moves. Crosses it all over. Thiago gets in contact with it. Martin tries to take a shot. Nobody can do it, and IMG is struggling to get this ball out of their area. Number 12 for IMG. Kicks it long down the sideline. And Lano's going to comfortably get there and let it roll out for a goal kick. Well, the heat has somewhat subsided here in the second half. It is a little bit more of a cloudy area. Kids are still getting beaten, though, by the sun and the heat. Points in the game. As that's a nice pass by Emerson over to Martin in the give and go. Still working it. Number 7 for IMG, herring him away, though. And Julian's going to come away with this ball in the midfield, makes the pass, finds Thiago, who makes a nice move and puts the ball between two defenders, trying to get it to Martin, and forces a throw for IMG. IMG throwing the ball long, headed forward again, but Lano there to clean it up and puts it into touch. All right, so IMG on the throw again. Martin getting a body to it. Emerson getting in there. And that's got to be a foul. But no foul called. Okay, here we go again. IMG now running down the sideline. Number 19. Making some moves on Brandon. Finds a pass in the middle of the field. Number 13 splits two defenders. Can he get around Lano? He does. Tries to shoot. Hits Brandon. And Brandon trying to win this ball. Body's on the ground. Referee says play on. Thiago now on the ball. He kicks it forward.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Emerson and Nick are there. Nick,
There
that's
it
on the
is.
ball. Nick, one-on-one shot.
Oh.
It just goes wide of the goal. Oh, man. That was a hair off.
Now, I can't believe that. I'm going to take another look. I'm going to give the referee the benefit of the doubt. And it looks like the IMG player wins the ball. So I got to give him that one. And he says play on because it looked like Martin may have got him. But I can't believe this. Nick, 99 times out of 100, buries this shot in the back of the net. And I think it's because he's coming off of an injury that he may have put this shot a little bit wide and that affected it. But, oh man, we've got to put that in the back of the net. That's 2-0.
Well, the IMG goalie kicking it off dangerously right in front of his goal again. They might get burned on that sooner or later. Nick now on the ball, trying to make something happen, wins a handball. And this is a dangerous area for IMG, as this is scoring distance for sure. As we take another look, Nick pops the ball, trying to play it over the defender. And the defender just raises his arm up. And he got a piece of that with his arm for sure. Alright, let's take a look. Who's going to line up on this one? I got to imagine it's going to be Nick. And it is. 4 men in the wall for IMG. Nick approaches. Shot. And it's over the net. And the goalie's going to lay it down on the ground right away. Playing out to the left side.
Oh, they're going to get burned. There it is!
Whoa!
Oh!
Man alive. That's another one. Ho!
Oh, you're not kidding. How lucky can IMG get here? Oh, man. It takes the slightest deflection off number 13. Oh, that should have been another one they had.
Well, I'll tell you, if IMG end up scoring in this game and tie this one up, I don't know if South Florida players are going to be able to sleep tonight. Oh, as Nicky tries for the overhead. SFFA still with this ball in front of the net. Cross on the ground, deflected. Can they get another one? No, IMG looks like they're going to clear it. Julian gets a foot to it, gets it off to Brandon. Brandon trying to return it back to Julian, can't do it. And here we go for another throw. Looks like he crashes right into Brandon. I mean, there was no attempt at the ball. He just jumped over him and crashed right into him. No foul called. Or will there be? And it looks like there is. Okay. Well, that's good. As Martin plays this one over to Crosby. Crosby plays this one over to Mora. Mora with a nice run here. Mora on the left foot. Shot. Oh!
I can't believe it!
2-0 South Florida. I never expected that to go in, ladies and gentlemen. The last two that Nick shot, I thought for sure were going to be goals. And Mora, just with a light strike of his foot, puts this one into the back bottom right of this net for 2-0.
Yeah, can you believe it? We were thinking the Nickies were in the back of the net, and here just comes Mora trotting through the middle of the field and just kicks it into the back of the goal like he's passing to his neighbor. Unbelievable. This IMG goalie was standing on his head for most of the game, and then here comes Mora and just places it into the back of the net. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. And now, South Florida leads 2-0. Let's see if we can get some more.
All right, Brandon on the ball now, advancing through the field, running into some trouble as he gets sandwiched by a couple IMG defenders, but it looks like he wins a throw and does. Martin on the ball, trying to get it to Nick. IMG controls it. IMG now, don't know why they're trying to shield the ball. They had the last touch. Martin throws this one into space. Nick trying to make something happen. Played over to the keeper, who kicks it somewhat long, not long enough, but headed bomb back by IMG. Brandon playing over to the right side of Crosby. Crosby up the field, finds Nick, who takes the touch, and unfortunately doesn't find anybody else, as the IMG keeper again punts it away, but only as far as Crosby. Crosby puts it back into the space. Martin down with it. Nice cut inside, shot right at the IMG keeper. So more shot generation and more play in IMG's half of the field, as they don't seem to have any solution in order to try to put some pressure on the goal, at least in this half. As Lano comes away with this one and is going to march it back up the field. Tiago over to Kawa. Kawa getting pressure by two IMG players, able to find a space, trying to run on the ball, but can't do it. IMG now back in possession. Looking to switch the side, but Martin there to intercept. Martin over to Tiago. Tiago with a nice little spin move and TikTok into the middle of the field. And just puts out a little too much mustard on that pass for Nick to handle it. And the IMG keeper again on the ball. Can't really delay any. Being down 2-0, he throws it short. IMG is going to try to pass out of their own half. Number 12, pass the ball through the middle again. Martin there to intercept. Martin trying to make something happen, can't do it. Julian comes down with it, passes it over the top. Cross and deflected. Martin brings it down again, but loses the ball. And down goes Mora from the number 12 from IMG, yet again using his body. IMG now in the attack, but do not have numbers, as Kawa clears this one. And Martin fighting for the ball. No fouls called as of yet, although there's been plenty of bodies hitting the ground. Martin now on this ball plays it over to Emerson. Emerson trying to make something happen and getting sandwiched again, and IMG just fighting, scraping, and kicking to try to make something happen. Just can't do it. This ball's played back to Valentino. Valentino back to Brandon. IMG bringing a lot of heat right now, but so far not really generating much on the goal side as they play this ball into the box. Valentino's there to scoop it up. Valentino urges the players to get forward, but ends up rolling it out to Crosby. Crosby playing the ball long, looking for Nick, finds him, but the flag is up, and it looks like it's going to be out for a throw. Crosby chesting the ball up in the air, and it's going to be an IMG throw. Crosby again kicking the ball out. Another IMG throw. As a number of South Florida players are warming up on the sidelines, to include Brandon, the goalkeeper. IMG big throw down the line. Lano there to parry it away. IMG back into the fray. Crosby there to break it up. And he is off to the races. Crosby passing to Nick. Nick with space to run. He's in the middle now. He's got an area to shoot. Shoots, and it's deflected by the number 9 IMG, and he wins a corner. I was just wondering when he was going to pull the trigger on that one. As Mora takes it short to Nick. Nick one-on-one. Nick crosses. Low cross. Deflected away. Mora back on the ball. Mora getting it on his preferred left foot. Crosses it into Martin. Martin trying to take a shot.
There it is!
Pops it to Nick. Nick drops it. The goalkeeper's down and is able to get to it. Wow.
I can't believe it. This just isn't Nicky's day. He's had 3 bites of the apple and he can't get it to the worm. I'm not sure what is going on here. He just, this isn't his day. Can't explain it more than that sometimes, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, IMG trying to get this ball out of their backfield desperately, but everywhere they go, there is a yellow and white jersey preventing them from getting where they're going. As we take another look here, Martin with a nice ball over the top of the defenders right to Nicky's foot, and you thought that was definitely going to be goal number 3, and this IMG keeper just gets a hand to it and prevents that from going into the bottom right corner. Matthew checking back in, getting ready to take the throw. Brian, who's also checked in. Nice breakaway on that play. Matthew plays it up to Brian. Brian with 3 IMG defenders in front of him. Tries to split him, can't do it. Matthew on the throw. Mora now bringing the ball down, and it's called for a handball by the referee. Can't really argue with that one. Definitely popped up and hit him in the elbow or in the hand. You're going to have a free kick for IMG. Goalie coming up to take this one, plays it short and out to the left side. IMG now finding the spaces, trying to make something happen. Mora breaks up that play, and IMG have another throw. Kawa now on the ball, wins a throw. Brian now. Brian looking for somewhere to go, can't find it, forced to play back. Crosby now on the ball. He plays it across to Brandon. Brandon plays to Matthew. Matthew's got some space. He plays the ball up the side, but it goes out for another IMG throw. Running throw from IMG, but no foul called. Matthew trying to get on this one. He does. And then is blocked out by an IMG player. No foul again. As Brian's fighting for this one. And again, no fouls called. That definitely just looked like a scrum rather than soccer. But referee says play on, as IMG is more than willing to duke this out. And passing the ball across the field. Matthew there to intercept. Plays the ball up the field. Unfortunately, IMG there, the only player to receive it. IMG number 7 plays it to number 9, who can't follow the pass, and it's out for a throw to Matthew. Matthew over to Brandon. Brandon to Lano. Lano to Crosby. Good ball movement in the back. Crosby playing it long. IMG parrying it back. South Florida defense not having to do much work today. Had a couple of scares, but mainly from set pieces, as they've been holding the line pretty steadily. No major issues there today. Midfield also getting the job done. So everything firing on all cylinders, as throw there to Brian is now down in the corner, and it's going to be a throw for South Florida deep in their own field. Nick looking for the throw. Matthew throws it long to Julian. Julian parries it over to Nick. Nick plays it back to Brandon. Brandon plays it across to Kawa. And Kawa comes down with it. Kawa nowhere to go. Plays it back to Crosby. Crosby, under pressure, plays it to Lano. And Lano is going to play it back to Brandon, who is now coming for Valentina. Brandon over to Crosby. Crosby looking up, plenty of time to make a decision. Plays it over to Brian. Brian left it for Julian. And Julian left it back for Brian. Brian back over to Mora. SFFA doing whatever they want with the ball right now as they encroach on IMG territory. Another shot from Mora. This one hits number 7 in the stomach. And is parried back out to the middle of the field where Julian's there to await for it. And Brandon passes it over to Matthew. Matthew looking for Julian. Finds him. Julian nowhere to go. Passes it back to Brandon. Brandon across to Crosby. Coach Greg giving direction on the field. Mora trying to bring it down. Mora back to Crosby. I haven't been counting the passes, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm sure there's been quite a few here, as South Florida has maintained possession for at least 2 minutes here through their passing and being patient on the ball. This ball trying to play into Matthew, and that's the first bad pass I've seen in quite a little bit. As this ball lands into the box, IMG forced to clear, and it looks like it's going to be a corner. Mora lines up to take the corner. Got a number of players in the box. Ball is good. It's deep. Lano got a head to it, just not enough to put it into the net. And that's going to go out for another corner. Nick now in the corner. Matthew there to play short. Nick plays it into the box. And the keeper comes away with that one. IMG quick to get out of their box. Keeper rolls it short. Not looking for Nick. Nick pokes it away. Oh, unfortunately, South Florida foot couldn't get on the end of that because that could have been an open goal. As IMG tries to rush this ball out. Matthew holding up the ball. And providing some pressure here. IMG giving the ball away in the midfield. Kawa now playing it long. Mora now trying to win it back, and does. He plays it over to Emerson. Emerson now on the ball. Plays it up to Mora. Not going to get there. Oh, Mora! A little sudden burst of speed. Tries to win that ball, but can't do it. And it's going to be another goal kick. And this one short. Matthew to get ahead to it. He plays it over to Luca, who's just checked into the game. Luca playing it back over to Matthew, but it goes to an IMG player. Matthew now applying pressure. Nico, who's checked into the game as well. Matthew plays it back to Brandon. Brandon to Lano. Lano to Crosby. Not much time left here, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to see if South Florida could put another ball in the back of the net through the passing that has been so far superb. In this last 5 minutes, maintaining possession and not making an abundance of mistakes has been really beneficial here as IMG try to chase this game. Ball into the box. Brian there. Shot. And goalie lays down, but I don't think he had to lay down too fast as that ball went right into his chest. Ball played out to the left side. Ball up in the field. Brandon there to bring it down. Brandon over to Mora. Mora with room to move.
Go.
Brian
Shoot.
again. Oh, that's got to be a foul.
Come on, the
referee says no.
Oh, you got to be
Wow,
kidding
that
me.
looked like a foul right at the top of the box. Looked like he got pushed to the ground. We'll have to take another look at that one once play stops. As IMG try to get this ball out of their area. They look exhausted, folks. Like I said, not many subs for IMG, and it is definitely taking its toll on them as this scrapping it out with SFFA is just weakening them minute by minute. Luca on the ball, plays it over to Gavin. Just a little too high. I don't know if he's going to get to it. He's fighting for it and wins a throw. Let's take another look at that call.
I think you mean no call, don't you? But first, let's take a look at the shot that Brian gave. As he comes in here from the right side, he's on his left foot. He blasts it. It's just a little too on target with the goalie, and not off to the sides. But here's the other angle that was a no call. Brian gets on his right foot, is lining up the shot, and 21 just comes in and takes him out at the feet. There was no contact with the ball. There was nothing there to even suggest that that was anything other than a push. And to prevent him from taking the shot, that should have been a yellow card and a free kick or a penalty awarded to South Florida. And this referee should be ashamed of himself for not calling that.
Well, in all respect to the referee, it did look like he might have got a piece of the ball there. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that should have been a foul call. But a little bit closer than what we would like to imagine. As Brandon takes a diving tackle there, prevent the furtherance of that play. IMG again struggling to get this ball in the outfield. I think this is just for them trying to get a ball in the back of the net for pride here, because they just really haven't had it today like they did last week on their home field. As Matthews trying to poke this one away, he can't do it. Brandon comes away with the interception. And IMG trying to make something happen, committing numbers forward as Crosby chases this one down and puts it into touch. IMG on the throw here. Into the box. Crosby heads it out. Brian trying to get back on it. Can't do it. Now he is. And passes it over to JC. JC up to Luca, who's all by himself. He gets it over to Nico. Nico back over to JC. JC trying to shield the ball. Gets over to Mora. Mora now over to Gavin. Gavin over to Brian. Brian to Nico. Nico getting attacked by three players. Still able to get the pass off to Gavin. Gavin now playing the ball through to Luca. Luca over to Mora. I'll tell you, this is something to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Just the number of passes and how easily they're doing it. And I mean, under pressure. It's not like IMG is giving it to them. They are harassing them and getting on them more than any other team I've ever seen. And South Florida is just able to connect the passes no matter what they do. As Crosby plays this one back to Lano, and it looks like Lano's going to retreat back, looking for someone to pass to. He plays it over to Crosby. South Florida wearing out the clock. It is certainly getting down there. Lano now in possession. Plays over to Crosby. Crosby up to Gavin. Gavin back to Mora. Mora up the field to Gavin. Gavin getting pulled there. No foul. Referee says play on. Moore trying to play it through, can't do it. Ball through to number 12. IMG number 12 putting on the afterburners there. Trying to get away from Nico, can't do it. And South Florida have gotten back into their positions. IMG with a little bit of space there, but not much, as Mora pokes it away and gets it up to Luca. Luca, using his body to get around this big IMG defender, wins a throw. Matthew throws the ball into Nico. Nico. Oh, that had to be a foul. And no call again by the referee as Crosby hustles over to win this ball back and plays it back to Lano, who lets it go to the keeper. Brandon over to Nico. Nico had to react quickly as IMG are pulling out all the stops to try to win this ball back. Brandon again poking it away. Brian to Gavin. Gavin with the sliding
good
pass.
Play.
Gets it off to JC. JC has some room to run here. Takes another shot.
Oh,
diving parry
Luka.
away from by the goalie. Luca,
Oh.
another parry. And IMG still trying to clear the ball and do only momentarily.
This keeper's having a hell of a match.
Nico now trying to get on the ball. Matthew there trying to block the pass. And does, intercepts. Looking across, finds Brian. Brian over to Mora. Mora back to Lano, and SFFA will reset. Brandon back to Lano. Lano up the field finds Gavin. Gavin now. Oh, not sure what he was looking for there. As now IMG, for the first time I'm seeing, passing it back to their keeper. Keeper plays it long, but only finds the feet of Brandon. Brandon, oh no, tried to pass it back to Lano. Number 19 was there to get a foot to it. He plays a nice ball in, but Crosby's there to parry it away. Number 18 now on the ball. Matthew kicking it away and wins the foul. Oh man.
Well, I know what you're going to say. I'm crazy. But I'm telling you, this IMG keeper is having a hell of a match. He has made some saves today that I think are spectacular. Starting off with this one, he parries it away, he gets quickly up to his feet, covers the distance of his goal, gets to the near post, and blocks another ball, and then is cleared away by his defense. You gotta love the effort of this keeper and keeping his team in the game, even though they're down 2-0. We take another look at the foul here. The IMG player just clips Matthew as he's trying to win that ball back. But man, this IMG team doesn't know how to quit. They're trying still, no matter what. There's so little time left, but they're still trying to win every ball and trying to be competitive. Good for them.
Well, IMG now on the ball. We find their number 7, who is starting to irk his way up the field. 18 trying to make some moves on Brandon. I don't think he's going to be too lucky, but wins the throw for his team. IMG looking for the long throw. Headed away by Nico. Shot. And this one's going well over the bar and into the bushes over the fence. Brandon kicks the ball into Crosby, who was under pressure. Lano now on the ball. He passes it back to Crosby. Crosby loses it a little bit. Back on it. Plays it up the line. Gavin in a full sprint trying to get there. And does. But it is called out of bounds. And it's going to be an IMG throw. IMG now kicking the ball forward. Just trying to get somebody on the run here. Brandon quickly off his line to collect that one. Brandon cautiously rolls it out to Lano. Lano plays it over to Crosby, who loses it, and it's going to be an IMG throw. IMG deep in South Florida territory here, making some long throws. Nico again heading the ball away. As I said earlier, Nico appears to be everywhere when he's on the field. Really causing some trouble today for that IMG defense. I'm sorry, offense. All right. IMG keeper blasts this one up the field. Crosby gets a foot to it, plays it over to Mora, or at least tries to. IMG play it across to the right side. Now they're going to take a run at Matthew. Matthew gets a foot to it. And he plays it down the line. Luka's in a full sprint. Luka just gets pushed off the ball by 12. No foul called yet again. And Brandon able to clear this pass. IMG still keeping in possession. Mora now splitting the defenders. Plays it over to Gavin. Gavin gets around it, but too late, as the ball's going to go out for another throw. So he gets ahead to that one. Mora playing it over his defender, and then over to Matthew. Matthew controls it, plays it into Luka, who's looking for the give and go. Luka went the opposite direction. Plays this one over to Gavin. Gavin trying to make something happen, can't do it. JC now on the ball. JC with some nice dribbles through the middle. Was looking for Matthew, I believe, but had the ball parried away by IMG. Brandon now passing over to Matthew. Matthew with nowhere to go, passes it over to Nico. Nico under pressure. Passes it up to Brian. Brian sees the run of Matthew, gets it off to him. Can he keep it in bounds? And it doesn't look like it will. Taking another look here. Looks like Gavin's foot got kicked in the process of that ball. No foul called. Yet again. It's just a little disappointing. You know, I don't expect the referee to see everything and to call everything. But there seems to be a consistent pattern here with IMG where they're just looking to kick and push and pull. Because they realize they're down and they may be the more undersized team. So they're trying to pull out a lot of different stops here to try to get a little bit of an advantage. But, you know, the referee's job is to try to keep this game in check. And I see a lot of yellow jerseys going down to the ground just like that. I saw Nico go down to the ground, and then I saw an IMG player go to the ground, but then the IMG player gets the call. And I'm just not sure where the foul is there.
Well, you're going to have to look pretty hard because I don't think you're going to see it. Lano doesn't make any contact with this player. He falls to the ground as he's trying to pass it, and he gets the foul. Let's take another look at this one with Nico. Nico, there's more contact there from the IMG player than with Lano on the IMG player. And they get the call. I'm not trying to say that the referee is biased, but he's clearly calling fouls down when the other team hit the ground, but not the South Florida. That is concerning.
Well, Matthew on the ball now. He plays the ball into space for Luka, and it looks like Luka's just going to be offside. And he's just a little frustrated with that. I think he kind of knew it when the ball got played. Yeah, he's clearly offside there by a good few feet. So not much you can do about that. Good eye by Matthew to play the ball into the space. But Luka, I think he's just the heat and the movement is getting to him. And once that happens, then sometimes your thinking goes too. As Brandon comes away with this ball, plays it over to Matthew. Matthew plays a high ball over to Lano. Lano brings it down, plays it over to Brandon. Brandon into Nico. Nico playing it up to Brian. Brian with a nice little TikTok pass to Matthew. Matthew over to Luka. And Luka, going to get into a scrum here. And now the referee is going after 21 from IMG and shows the yellow card.
Well, I have to say it's about time. But you know what? Luka starts this. He grabs a hold of the IMG player, who then retaliates in turn. Now, this is frustration from the players not getting the calls when IMG is attacking them. And then they reciprocate. And that's when these things devolve into just battles between players instead of playing the game. Now IMG have two players on the yellow, and they're behind 2-0. This can't be good for them as they want to continue to play aggressively to try to win the balls because IMG's passing has been just so precise today and preventing them from getting in any kind of rhythm of possession. Luka again upset with the manhandling of these IMG players whenever he gets the ball.
All right, well, IMG back on the ball here, trying to make something happen. Can't get the pass through. More there to intercept. He plays the ball up to Gavin. Gavin trying to play it to Luka, and Luka gets cut again, and this time again by 21, but no card shown. And he clearly just goes in on him and takes him out at the legs.
Oh, I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but that should be another yellow card, and that player should be ejected from the game. That's 2 incidents of fouls against the same player and could be seen as retaliation. There is no reason to go in there that strong on a ball you know you're not going to get. In my opinion, that's a red card, and it will set the tone for the rest of this game because these wild challenges, this is what gets players hurt.
Lano plays this ball over to Crosby. Crosby trying to explore that right side. Plays a nice ball over the top and into space. Just no South Florida player can get on top of it. I got to say, even South Florida, with the number of subs that they've had today, their possession time on the ball has got to have been wearing them down. As you're constantly moving and trying to adjust to maintain that possession, it can be extremely taxing on you. And they've got to be wearing out just a little bit. As this ball's played over to Gavin. Gavin trying to find Matthew, but he gets hit and goes down as that ball's played across. And it looks like another yellow card for an IMG player, this time number 18, for the foul on Gavin.
Well, I have to say, at least the referee is finally starting to pay attention to some of these harder fouls that these IMG players have been perpetrating the whole game. And he's finally starting to see some colors for it. The yellow color, naturally. I'd like to see some red thrown out there, but only time will tell. Oh, that was a beautiful ball played into the box by Brian on that free kick. Unfortunately, nobody could capitalize.
It was a great ball. IMG now, that'll be the game. Woo! I'm sure IMG's happy that they got out of there without getting anybody on a red card status. And South Florida's got to be happy because the game's finally over because it was quickly devolving. And Coach Greg has to be really impressed with how the team maintained possession and the passing that they did in the final half of this game. They really killed it, maintaining that 2-0 lead and the shutout clean sheet for Valentino and for Brandon and for this defense. Really, hats off to them. I'd say Nico was one of the players of the game because he was everywhere today, heading balls away, intercepting, passing up the field, doing a lot of different stuff to keep South Florida in this game. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I definitely would. All of the players today played exceptionally well. I wouldn't say anybody had a bad game. This was, from top to bottom, a complete game. Coach Greg should be proud of every single one of these players. And after playing this team last week and tying them, you clearly see who the dominant team was from this performance today, having owned this game from start to finish. IMG had their chances, but they couldn't capitalize. SFFA had a number of chances. This scoreline could have been much, much worse. Nikki could have had a hat trick, and other players could have had additional goals added onto the total. I think this is an all-around great game for South Florida, and one heck of a win.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That'll do it for us here today from Loggers Run Park, South Florida Football Academy 2, IMG 0. We hope you join us next week when we'll be bringing you additional highlights from games and also our play-by-play commentary for whatever's coming next for the South Florida Football Academy. In the meantime, click like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's broadcast, and we hope to see you next time.